Millions of baboons sweeping through African farms, stealing food from cities and outwitting every tactic humans have devised to fight them. But the question remains, who is really hunting whom in this battle? Centuries ago, the Hadza tribe of Tanzania relied on traditional bows and poisoned arrows to hunt baboons, turning the meat into food that kept their people alive through harsh seasons. That story of survival has now twisted into something darker across modern South Africa, especially in Cape Town, where baboon troops spill out of the mountains and onto city streets. They raid garbage bins, tear through kitchens, and even force families to barricade their home. What was once a lifeline for an ancient tribe has become a daily nightmare for suburban residents, igniting fierce debate. Are baboons the invaders, or are we the ones who crossed into their territory? For hunters craving a transformative challenge, targeting baboons on the rugged peaks of South Africa offers spiritual growth that fosters a deep connection with nature while also assisting in humane population control to protect farms and ecosystems.
Straight down, wheel.
These primates, with a social structure in groups dominated by aggressive males weighing up to 99 pounds, exhibit alert behaviours that constantly watch from high perches and retreat quickly from cliffs, making them difficult to spot in steep terrain. Understanding their group dynamics, where the leader alerts the group with a call, helps hunters predict movements, turning the hunt into a strategic one. To succeed on steep slopes, adapt your stalking tactics by observing baboon groups at dawn on ridges, then advance in a crouch with bent knees to move silently over loose rubble, exploiting their downhill feeding patterns for closer shots below 150 yards. take advantage of the baboons' daily routine of coming down to feed while remaining hidden during their midday rest periods. Always favour the wind to avoid their keen senses. Legally, in South Africa, baboon hunting varies as no permit is required in the Northwest and Western Cape for year-round hunting, while Limpopo requires a permit for non-landowners subject to published seasons. As a hunter, always consult with provincial authorities or outfitters to ensure compliance, as national policy prioritises local regulations over restrictions on these non-threatened species. Not stopping at one measure based on the latest information sources up to 2025, baboon hunting in South Africa is becoming more popular. This method is often integrated into comprehensive hunting trips at a cost of around $200, 0 cents to $500 per animal. The main reason for the switch from guns to bows and arrows is that bows and arrows are quieter, less likely to startle the herd, and are better suited for hunting from cover. There is no specific year for the industry-wide change, but bows and arrows have become more popular since the 2010 The main difference from baboon hunting with guns is that the hunter must build a hide near water, use a compound bow with a minimum of 40 lb of draw force and 40 ft/lb of kinetic energy to ensure accuracy. Prepare orange or other fruit lures with 20 to 50 pounds, enough to attract the herd without wasting. Each hunt I am allowed to take 1 to 3 to avoid ecological impact, and only target adult males to control the herd. Not all trips are successful and must wait at least 4 to 6 hours in the blind for the herd to approach. As for you, I consider the weather to be a big factor, because the dry season from May to October is the time when visibility is good, heavy rain makes it difficult to move and hide, strong winds expose human scent and make them avoid. Unfortunately, baboon hunting on private land is not always possible due to legal restrictions and safety concerns. If you determine that bow hunting may not be effective in your situation, electric fencing is often recommended as a solution to reduce human-baboon overlap. When properly designed, electric fencing can reduce baboon access to protected areas by nearly 100%. Unfortunately, baboon proofing around the perimeter of a standard residential area is not always possible, because there must be a clear buffer zone, free of nearby buildings or vegetation that baboons could use to jump the fence. Fence specifications also need to be adjusted to ensure that the fence is truly baboon-proof. Regular inspection and maintenance of the fence is also required. If you feel your property is suitable for baboon fencing, contact your nearest government agency for assistance. A wave of terror is sweeping across the Australian outback as dingoes brutally attack buffalo, kangaroos, wild pigs, and even a woman on a Queensland beach. With dingo numbers increasing by 15% since 2015, sheep herds have plummeted by 40%, devastating the livelihoods of pastoralists and spreading risk throughout rural communities. The invasive species stalks the moon, threatening not only livestock but also the delicate balance of nature, as unchecked kangaroos destroy vegetation. Will nature hold its ground, or will the dingoes claim victory? But confronting these predators requires absolute precision, where a neglected gun can be a betrayal. As the SSA's How to Clean and Maintain a Gun program hastily reveals, a barrel clogged with gunpowder residue will cause bullets to stray, turning hunters into prey in an instant. How long has it been since you scrubbed your rifle barrel with a copper brush soaked in solvent, or oiled the metal surface to prevent the dangerous adhesion of rust? This meticulous ritual is more than just maintenance, it's a survival knife. For dingo hunters, the ultimate technique is sniper accuracy from 100 to 200 yards. Aiming the .223 round with precision, quickly taking the sting out of a dusty fight. In the 1980s, rifle hunters in the Australian outback brought down dingo packs, reducing livestock numbers by more than 60% and reviving the booming sheep industry.
Look at it all.
But this relentless, blindly pursued slaughter has wreaked ecological chaos. The dingo hunting was not wrong, but its reckless, ecologically ill-conceived nature was a grave mistake. If governments were to switch to selective hunting, they could create a tense truce between pastoralist livelihoods and the balance of nature. As for hunting, I have found that night dingo hunting has proven highly effective for ranchers each year. Using night vision scopes, hunters aim at the right location and distance during peak activity hours. However, this high-risk hunting activity requires extreme vigilance. Low light poses a risk of misidentification, which impacts native species. Stray light exposes the hunter, requiring upwind movement and cover. Infrequent checks in remote areas increase errors, disrupting ecosystems. Hunters must work with authorities, use GPS and adhere to regulations, balancing livestock protection with ecological responsibility for sustainable results. Instead of dingo hunting, large, spring-loaded steel-leg traps, often padded to comply with humane regulations, are used along familiar territory trails, camouflaged under foliage and scented bait to attract the animals. Unlike fox traps, dingo traps are primarily used for larger dingoes. They are set in remote bushland due to their larger size, pack behaviour and native habitat, which require closer monitoring. The most effective annual dingo trapping is in late autumn to early spring from March to June, coinciding with the breeding season when dingoes are more active in search of mates and food is scarcer. The government offers a reward for dingo skins to encourage control, minimise initial livestock losses, and demonstrate short-term effectiveness in protecting the rural economy. However, over time, the dingo's adaptations to detect and avoid traps through the persistent scent of humans, obvious environmental disturbances, and learned behaviour from surviving pack members make this method less effective as the population adapts seasonally. So, what do you think is the best solution for the growth of the dingo population, or should we just keep trapping and waiting in vain? Spanning over 3,500 miles, Australia's dingo fence stands as a steadfast barrier, shielding livestock from dingo predation and protecting ranchers' livelihoods from crippling losses. Yet this iconic structure, visible even from space, carves a deep wound across the outback's ecosystem. Satellite imagery starkly reveals that where dingoes are blocked, kangaroo populations surge, overgrazing vegetation and triggering soil erosion. This imbalance threatens biodiversity, with invasive species like foxes thriving unchecked, endangering native wildlife. The fence also severs indigenous pathways, fracturing cultural ties to the land. So, I ask you, is this measure on the right path? Or is it fundamentally flawed?
The red fox is notorious for its intelligence and poses a significant threat to the poultry farming industry in Australia. They raid people's chicken farms, presenting a major challenge, not only economically but also in sustaining agriculture. Red foxes often target poultry farms at night when the chickens are resting and less alert. Each attack can result in substantial losses. Foxes typically consume only a small portion of the hunted chickens, leaving many injured or dead. Additionally, they steal eggs and feed, further increasing economic losses for farmers. Red fox attacks on poultry farms have led to the deaths of thousands of chickens annually. According to 2023 statistics, the Australian poultry farming industry has suffered approximately USD 1.5 billion in damages due to red fox predation. The relentless attacks of red foxes not only threaten the livelihoods of poultry farmers, but also disrupt agricultural ecosystems. So is innate hunting behavior the main cause for aggressive attacks by red foxes on poultry? Firstly, red foxes were introduced to Australia in the 19th century to hunt rabbits. However, after rabbit populations exploded, red foxes shifted to attacking poultry species. Foxes have no natural predators in Australia. Consequently, they breed rapidly. A single red fox can produce 4 to 10 offspring per year. The proliferation of the red fox population poses a challenging scenario for Australian farmers and alters the ecosystem. Due to their nocturnal hunting behavior, using acute hearing and a keen sense of smell to detect prey, controlling and preventing fox attacks on poultry by Australian farmers becomes increasingly difficult. The poultry farming industry, facing losses of 50 to 100 million USD, confronts a dual challenge, not only reducing profits but also threatening economic stability. This poses a challenge for the farming community and drives demand for management and control measures to minimize the impact of foxes on poultry farms. Australian farmers employ tactics like installing barbed wire fences and constructing modern farm enclosures. However, the effectiveness and ethicality of these measures remain contentious. Barbed wire fences, standing 1.5 to 2 meters tall, aim to deter farm intrusion, yet their installation requires significant time and effort, including digging trenches, setting posts, and stretching wire. While reducing fox intrusions, it may also pose risks to other wildlife species. The red fox hunting measure is an important strategy implemented when their population reaches threatening levels to the environment and poultry in Australia. Here is an overview of how the hunting process is conducted and assessed by the community. Red fox hunting focuses on reducing their population and is carried out year-round. However, there are specific regulations in each state. In Queensland, hunting is only allowed from May to August. Setting fox traps is a crucial part of the control strategy, involving selecting trap locations where foxes commonly pass, preparing traps securely, and setting them at appropriate times. Red fox hunting is a common practice in Australia, especially in agricultural areas where foxes can harm poultry. This helps protect the national resource from the negative impacts of red fox populations. Red fox is considered an invasive species detrimental to the Australian ecosystem. Hunting is deemed an effective measure to control fox populations and protect native wildlife. However, many argue that hunting is not an efficient method for fox control, as it can harm other animal species and their habitats. The Australian government is striving to find a balance between environmental conservation and ethical considerations regarding fox hunting. If you believe that constructing modern enclosures and installing fences is effective in protecting poultry farms against foxes, comment 1. If you agree with hunting and trapping foxes, comment 0, like and subscribe for more upcoming videos.
These approaches have been great at stopping the spread of some invasive species. Got any ideas for even better solutions? Drop your thoughts in the comments so we can all dive into it together. Thanks for sticking around and watching the whole video. If you liked it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And hey, be sure to tell your friends about us too so they can check it out. Bye and see you in the next video.